Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's video, I want to have a look at Avalanche. But before I do, I first want to thank today's sponsor, FairDesk. Now, FairDesk is an exchange where you can go to trade your crypto at super low fees. FairDesk also allows for copy trading, so by clicking the link in the description, you can sign up and follow my trades live. But hurry, because there's only 50 people that can follow my trades live. And with no KYC required, there really is no reason not to head over there now and sign up using the link in the description. It's super easy. You literally just make an account and boom, deposit some crypto, you're trading. So thanks again to FairDesk, and back to the video. Now, taking a closer look at Avalanche's price, we can see that it's currently sat at this sort of $9.13 mark and has been sort of oscillating within this range below the $9.80 mark for about a week, just over, maybe even just about 2 weeks. We came down below on the 10th of September. We dropped down below this line where I'd drawn a support and has now turned into a resistance for Avalanche. And before that, we spent about 3 weeks, since about mid-August, below this sort of $10, 80 cent, 90 cent level. And we sort of fluctuated in between here until we eventually broke down. Again, Avalanche seems to be very good at breaking its supports and not testing its resistances. But, you know, if we're going to be cheeky and guess how this might go, we can say that here we saw Avalanche test its resistance. It got rejected, and then after about 2 weeks, it broke down below. And we could see something similar happen here where we broke down below. In the next few days, we could see a test at the resistance. And then when we get rejected, we get dropped down below. And the reason I say when we get rejected instead of if we get rejected, I do believe Avalanche is in a very tricky spot. I mean, if we zoom out, it's been a downward trend since the beginning of this year, since February. Like a lot of altcoins, Avalanche had a big pump at the beginning of this year. Went up on its USD pairs, went up on its Bitcoin pair, and then ever since, it's just kind of collapsed, really. It hasn't done well at all. It did have a sort of second resurgence here, like a lot of other altcoins, but what makes Avalanche comparatively worse compared to a lot of other altcoins that are, say, in the top 20, Avalanche has broken down below its yearly open, which is really not good news for any alt that does this, because we can see that we tested it here and got rejected, which was good for the time, but we've come back down and now we've broken down below it. And the fact that we have broken down below it shows that there's not much support price-wise for Avalanche now. There are no serious key levels that we can draw from this cycle. I mean, if you want to, you're going to have to go back to basically Avalanche's inception to get any sort of price level support here. And that's not even really worth it, because it's so long ago. It's kind of not a factor. So we've come into this, basically this, we've come into like new territory here for Avalanche, where it's currently at its cycle low. It's coming close to, like, you know, the price it launched at, which I think was around $5 basically. So we're coming close to its all-time low in that sense. Percentage-wise, we've come close to its all-time low. And again, this downward trend, ever since we've broken down below this $10, we've got no serious level of support for Avalanche to bounce up against. So we can see this support here that I drew. It's kind of it's only there because we sort of bounced off it once or twice here, and even a few times this is where we've just sat. But it's not a historic support level. It's just one that sort of presented itself in the last week, and there's nothing really else that we can draw from, especially with the serious sort of this trend that Avalanche has been following for the last few months of serious sell pressure. And again, since the beginning of this year, ultimately, at least definitely since the middle of April, Avalanche has only had bad news, and we can see that it's well below its bull market support band. And I mean, Bitcoin sort of fluctuates within this range. It's currently below, but it's not too far away. It's much closer than where Avalanche is to its, you know, support band. And again, well, the theory is that basically you have to be above the bull market support band and you have to stay above it for a long time for a crypto to be considered in a bull run, or like to be performing well. And we can see that, you know, during 2021 August onwards, Avalanche was in its sort of bull run, and you know, basically all of 2021 it dipped below here, but that's when basically the whole of the market sort of dipped. It had its summer lull. Prices kind of dropped heavily, really badly for a lot of coins, and then we put in a lot of our all-time highs for a lot of alts, and Avalanche was above the line here. We can see after our sort of all-time highs, we come back down, and once we drop below, we struggle to stay in the bull market support band, and then when we drop below hugely, and we don't really come back up to test it until the beginning of this year, when we had our ultimately had our rally that faded into nothing. I mean, it was great if you managed to make money here. I hope you did. I hope you bought after FTX and sold $22, but you know, the chances of a lot of people doing that is very low, and ever since then we've just basically been back below this bull market support band. So basically we'll need another huge rally, huge pump for Avalanche to come back above this, and I don't think that will happen soon. If we swap to our Bitcoin pair with Avalanche, we can see these are lines that I actually I haven't touched. They were here since the previous video, and we can see that I drew this resistance line that Avalanche was ultimately following this trend line, and it's held up pretty well considering I made this video over a month ago now. It stayed pretty accurate to it. It might have, you know, come up a bit, and maybe it needs a little bit of adjustment, but ultimately it's held right. What I want to show you is this sort of line that I also drew, where Avalanche has sort of historically bounced off. We're coming up to that, basically, is what I'm saying. We're coming up to it, and if we want to adjust this line a little bit with the most recent sort of movements, we can see that if it does follow this line, and it might not, it might break above and then come back down, who knows, we should come into contact with this historic bounce level, historic support level, sorry, in around October to November time, basically. And this is good news. This is good news. This is what we want for Avalanche, because once it comes into this area, the amount of support for Avalanche on its Bitcoin pair is very strong. I mean, historically, sorry, let me just fit this back up again. Historically, it's broken down below this once, and when it did, it didn't spend much time below it at all. Spent about 3 months, and then once it was back up, had a big rally, and then when it came back down, came into contact with this line again, it shot up, and we put in our bull run, you know. So this is what we're hoping for again, basically, with Avalanche. But I just don't think we're going to see huge gains straight away with this. I think we'll probably ultimately break down below this line, like we did here. Just because I also think we're not in the right space for crypto yet. This ultimately, if we're looking at the 4-year cycle, this happened the year before the bull run. So this was the year of the halving, basically, where Avalanche dropped down below this line. It would sort of make sense if we sort of stayed above this level ever so slightly with Avalanche until 2024, and then once we're in 2024, year of the halving, we drop down below, spend 1 or 2 months below, and then we basically see something like this play out again, where we have a rally above, and then once we're above this line, we stay above this line on our Satoshi pair. Again, serious sell pressure on its Bitcoin pair. You're losing a lot of money if you're not holding Bitcoin, if you're holding alts instead. It's a dangerous game to play, guys. But I do think ultimately soon, sort of end of this year, we are going to see a bit of a revival for alts. And that's what I mean, where I think maybe we might touch this support, bounce off it, and then come back down, sort of in March 2024 time, April time maybe, during the halving. When the halving takes place, Avalanche might drop below the support line on its Bitcoin pair, spend a few months below, and then start coming back up and break above during the bull run year, beginning of the bull run year, ready for us to go into our next bull run. But again, that's quite a lot of speculation on my half, and you know, it could very easily not happen. Going back to the USD pair, I think that's basically all I want to say. Ultimately, if I have to give a trade for Avalanche, I would say I would put a buy order for Avalanche at $9.90, and I would have my sell at $10.70, and that way you can make a bit of cash. Let's just check. $9.90. You can make a 10% move there if you liked, if you put your buy here and your sell here, or if you're not sort of, or you could, a bit of a riskier one maybe, but one that's more likely to happen, you could put a buy order at, I would say, $9.08, and then I would sell at somewhere around $9.70. Now, you're not going to make as much profit. It's only going to be like a 7% move. But again, 7% is very nice. And if you want to leverage that, that's even more. But your only sort of worry is that Avalanche drops down below this level here. So I would put my stop loss order somewhere around $8.90 or even $8.95. It's kind of up to you. If you want to see what trade I make, I'll be making an Avalanche trade after this video, probably before this video even goes up. So if you want to see that live and be able to copy my trades, go check out my FairDesk account with the link in the description. If you sign up, you get a 5% deposit fee, and they throw you a few USD as well just for signing up and creating an account, and you can go follow my trades straight away. Easy as that. So instead of having to wait till the end of the videos, you can just follow my fair trade and see what happens. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please leave it a like, give it a subscribe, comment down below where you think Avalanche is headed. Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know. I always love having a chat with you guys in the comments. Take care, guys. See you soon, and peace.